media organizations here present, CEOs of parastatals under these two ministries, directors from both ministries, my good friends in this progressive journey, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this maiden press briefing from the youngest ministry. I want to claim that title, and delivered by the pioneer Minister of Livestock, my humble self. The ministry was created, it's already been indicated by Mr. President, the first of its kind under the federal establishment since the independence of this country. Why was this ministry created? Many have raised concerns, and I'm sure this is a very, very valid concern. However, today it is common knowledge that the volume and value of the livestock sector in this country is about 33 trillion naira. And past administrations have been somehow blind to this value in the economy of this country. So it is a strategic vision of Mr. President to bring in that sector into the formal sector by way of modernizing it. What is the vision of this ministry? To build a resilient, sustainable, inclusive and globally competitive livestock sector that drives economic diversification, economic growth, job opportunities, food and nutritious sovereignty, and improve livelihoods. Our mission is to implement innovative, inclusive, and sustainable policies, programs, and projects to address the livestock sector and make sure that the volume and value of businesses there are unlocked. Since the creation of the ministry, being first of its kind, we are in the process of being demerged from the mother ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. And today, we have been able to form a very, very solid team that have already started traversing the length and breadth of this country, meeting sub-regional governments, stakeholders, traditional rulers, development partners, and embassies in this country. That is all in an attempt to brand this ministry and to sensitize and raise awareness of the huge economic potentials that abound in that sector. We have gotten our decision tree, what you call an organogram, that have been approved, and from the two technical departments we inherited, 7 have been created, and therefore we have what it takes today to run this ministry, and this has been done in a record time. And therefore, these departments are already in the process of being populated with the requisite talents and those who possess the exposure and network to drive the activities of that ministry of the livestock ministry. I don't want to bore you down with the technical names of those departments. But however, suffice it to say that we are now solid on the ground. We play as any public player. This sector has been steeped in traditional practices, traditional animal husbandry, with indigenous animal breeds whose performance are suboptimal. And this is common knowledge to everybody. And the concern here of Mr. President is to transform that industry into a modern, vibrant, sustainable, globally competitive sector. How do we do that? We do that by the following pillars. Number one, We are conscious of the genetic limitations of the animal species in the country, and therefore we are embarking on a massive genetic upgrade. We are going to do this, however, in a very, very methodical manner. We are going to leapfrog the animal sector so that the productivity can be higher, just as at par with their own counterparts elsewhere. But we are also going to jealously guard our indigenous genetics. We are already talking with institutions of learning in this country to create a gene bank where we can store all our local indigenous genetics, because they have been produced here, they are resilient, they are adaptive, they are resistant to diseases. Therefore, we don't want to wish them away. We are going to combine them, we are going to keep them and do crossbreeding so that those elements of indigenous genetics are also preserved for future generations and future national growth. We are also in the ministry very, very conscious of the survival mechanism adopted by breeders and animal livestock breeders in the country. And therefore, top of an agenda is to be able to address the issue of feed and fodder. For us in the ministry, feed and fodder is livestock. If you don't have sufficient feed and fodder, you are not talking about livestock at all. We are conscious of this, and we have already started mapping out. In fact, we have gotten the inventory of all the grazing reserves in the country, both gazetted and ungazetted, running to about 417, totaling more than 5 million hectares of land. So we are going to focus our attention on those grazing reserves that are going to receive necessary infrastructure to receive the national herd. What I mean by national herd, all farmable animals will one day be settled in those grazing reserves where there will be sufficient infrastructure in terms of feed and fodder, water resources, infrastructure for the herders' families, schools, veterinary clinics, etc., so that they become, each one of those will become an economic hub. Already, we have gotten a very good commitment from our development partners to get into some of these reserves to assist us in developing those structure. Each one of them is now going to become an economic hub for dairy processing, for beef, for commercial pasture growing, and for hide and skin. So this is what we are looking at. We are not also oblivious of the age-old cattle routes. Already we have digitized the cattle routes in this country. We have digitized also available dams. We have also digitized those grazing reserves. So at the click of the button, we are leveraging technology to ensure that we can see whatever is happening in all the grazing reserves nationwide. We are also conscious of the issue of data. The last National Livestock Census was done in 1991. We are conscious of that, and whatever figures we give today is based on extrapolations. But however, we will continue to adopt technology to ensure that we have the data that is relevant today, very creative, very robust, to capture all the animal resources we have in this country. We will do that to ensure that we also do a lot of tagging and tracing. So the incidences of cattle losses, either due to rustling or whatever form, will be easily traced. Already we have demonstrated the national animal identification tagging system has already been launched, and we are going to go via that route to ensure that each animal in this country has an ear tag that can be traced. The technology is there, it is robust, it is available, and it's the only way we can do to know exactly where our herds are, where is the density, where are they going, where are we likely going to have a crisis point, then we can now leave it in the bud. Distinguished senior colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, we are also bent on creating the necessary environment for private sector participants. This ministry will work hand in hand with private sector people to develop the ministry. We are taking the poultry template that have succeeded by far out of all the other species, and that is the template we are going to apply to the rest of the livestock. And to herald this, you will have probably heard of the news of our journey with Mr. President during the G20 summit in Brazil near De Janeiro, where on the sidelines we were able to visit a number of global players in the livestock industry in Brazil. And at the end of the day, we were lucky with Mr. President's presence there. We had a commitment from JBSSA, the biggest player in the red meat industry, to come to Nigeria and invest to the tune of $2.5 billion. And today, there is no testament to the vision of Mr. President that this singular investment commitment from the biggest player in Brazil. It heralds a global South cooperation, and as I'm talking to you, we are going to receive the next team to concretize this investment plan tomorrow here in Nigeria. We have also had a number of engagements with other private sector investors in this country, as well as international players. We have received a lot of presentations from many of the embassies in this country. We have received a lot of delegations of businessmen who want to come into the livestock sector and partner with us. Notably here, the US ambassador was with us, the ambassador of France, UK 8, Morocco, China, investments from the PRC in China, Mexico, just to mention a few. Yesterday, I was with a delegation from the French Embassy, Agency France Development. We had very robust discussions, as well as other giant players like Nestle, like Ala, like Danone. All of them came, each one wanting to take a piece of the action, because today that sector has been unlocked and open for business. An example of what is going to happen is what I want to say here next. The issue of red meat industry in this country. We have been getting a lot of appetite, very strong commitment for investors from the Middle East. However, we are not ready to key into that, simply because of the traditional slaughterhouses we have in this country that are not meeting the hygienic standards of international consumers. You would have probably seen pictures of our visit to the Amosun Central Abattoir in Ibadan. To say the least, that is not what red meat processing should be in this country. And already we have started engaging with a lot of investors in the red meat industry. We have taken an inventory of about 13 abattoirs in the country. Many of them are not functional. Many are under lock and key. We are talking with those investors, including the subnational governments, to get partners to start working on the backward integration so as to ensure that satisfactory feedstock in terms of number of animals, as well as bulls, poultry, small ruminants, are secured in their prime age and body build, and have sufficient quantity for processing in these abattoirs. How do we do that? For us here, we are coming with a number of initiatives that will suit our economic and social dynamics, organizing outgrowers. We are coming up with initiatives on youth and women who are going to be involved in livestock businesses, including commercial pasture cultivation, as well as reviving the poultry sector. These are today the focus of the ministry in terms of democratizing animal businesses, agribusinesses, as it affects livestock. And we do believe that with the kind of reach we have today, these programs are going to resonate across the country. That is our intention, and that's how we are going to do it. We are already talking with development partners, development banks that are ready to key into this robust program of organizing youth and women across the country. We call them initiatives, initiatives for women in livestock, initiative on youth in livestock. We have already reached out, some of these organizations have already visited us, and this is the trajectory to go. Furthermore, we are also leveraging on what is happening today. We have two dominant institutes in the country. One is National Veterinary Research Institute in VOM, that is over 100 years old, but as it is today, it is not in any position because of the obsolescence of their technology and equipment to satisfy our requirement for vaccines across all the species. They are only able to give us 15% of our national requirement, and therefore the intention of the ministry, already that institute has been studied. We have the report is conducted by McKinsey. We are going to embark on a full commercialization of NDRI so that they can be in the position to supply minimum 1.2 billion doses every year, and that will be across the board. Our concern here is about animal health and disease management. If you are not in the position to control and manage endemic diseases, zoonotic diseases, you cannot compete at the international market. And therefore, it is top on our agenda to put that institute in a proper position to be able to satisfy all our vaccine requirements across the species, from poultry to the camel, which is the tallest. In my interest, I also to note that what is worrisome here is that we spend minimum $1.5 billion to import vaccines for animal resources in this country. That must be dented. We should be in the position to domicile that money inside this country by building the capacity of NDRI. At the moment, we are also looking at National Animal Production Research Institute, Shika ABU Zaria. We have already commissioned a group of talented and very, very progressive-looking Nigerians to study NABRI and advise us on how to unbundle NABRI so that they can address the yearnings of the sector. NABRI, first station established 1928. It has gone under different statuses, but as of today, the way they are, we need to get in there and create a number of specialty areas where they can talk to the market, where they can talk to Nigeria to answer the gaps in terms of research and development that are going to be marketable, that are going to be commercialized. So this is what we are looking at, and by the time we finish that, we will have a brand new NABRI that is going to be reinvigorated and take the position of other research institutes that are today in the global south. If you look at today at the research institutes like Embrapa in Brazil, the ones in Cairo, in Egypt, Morocco, Botswana, and South Africa, these are supposed to be our peers, but they have gone far ahead. But our whole intention today is to leapfrog. Research and science should be in the driving seat in this transformation. We are talking of our animals being performing optimally. Our cows, mama cows, can only give 2 liters per day. Their counterparts are giving 30, 40 liters. Yes, of course, there are researches today where some organizations have done F1, F2 crosses that are today giving 50 liters per cow per day. We want to look beyond that, but we do believe that we have the energy and the resources to leapfrog this system so that our mama cows can give us minimum 30 liters per day. And the same goes for beef. The same goes for beef. Our bulls, today we eat aged bulls, 5, 6, 8 years old. The meat is already tough and it's only fibrous. Our intention today is to make sure that we have hybrid bulls at 30 months that can weigh 600 kg. And that is the slaughter weight. At 30 months, minimum 2.5 years. That's what we are looking at. That is our goal, and that is what we are going to do. We are also looking at holistically looking at the current contribution of livestock to GDP, which is the minimum of 5%. Our intention today is to be able to double that number in the not distant future so that at least we can have not less than 10% contribution of livestock to the GDP. That is a tall order, but we believe we can do it because we have the resources to do that. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the livestock sector is big enough, and I've just been told that My time is up. I have not spoken about the bee, I have not spoken about the rabbit, I have not spoken about the poultry in detail, I have not spoken about the pig, I have not spoken about the goat, I have not spoken about the sheep, I have not spoken about the cattle, I have not spoken about the donkey, the horse, and the camel. Now, these are the animal species under the ministry. And let me give you an example. Mr. Facilitator, just give me 2 more minutes plus 2. The abattoir we're talking about, let me unlock this to you. The abattoir you're looking at, if you take a cow for instance, we want a legislation where every cow that is slaughtered in Abuja today is slaughtered under the controlled environment of an abattoir. If you do that, you get the hygiene. You are not sure of any contamination from any of the zoonosis. But the business angle is this. If you slaughter 200 cows in an abattoir, the blood would go to a blood bank. And that is a feedstock for fish millers. Each cow has 30 liters of blood. 30 times 200. Each liter is 1,000 naira. Today, without the abattoir, all that resources goes to waste. The solid waste, each cow has 30 kilograms of solid waste after you slaughter it. That will go to making biogas to fire that abattoir. And the excess can also be sent to the natural grid. Under this same abattoir, if you debone it, you remove by hydraulic power the meat from the bones. You crush the bone into calcium that will go to animal feed. You remove the bone marrow and send it to pharmaceuticals. You remove the bile from the animal's stomach and export it to China. The hoofs, the horns are also exportable, or you can crush them into calcium. You have 55% red meat. All those others that now go to waste, they are also valued as I have described. And that is the reason today, because we consider it as waste. That is why today meat is expensive. Because the butcher only gains value from the red meat. These others goes to waste. But in this ministry today, our own position, and that's how we are going to raise the consciousness of Nigerians in the animal kingdom, there is no waste. There is no waste. And this is what is hidden in that livestock sector. And imagine the bulls, how many cows we are slaughtering today in this country. And half of what we are wasting in the abattoir or slaughtering all over the place means that we are not gaining that economic value. The hide and skin alone can create 700,000 jobs, about 23 billion naira value. But again, our slaughter process, where we cut the cow's neck and put kerosene on top of the skin to burn it, that is carcinogenic. Or use paint engine oil to burn the skin and scrape it because we feel that we want to eat the meat with the skin. That is not hygienic. It is cancerous. It is dangerous. Ask scientists about this. Even if it is cultural, it is poisonous. It is poisonous culture. Let's conclude it that way. So therefore, we are raising questions of people that some of these practices is what we want to bring to the fore, so that people can know that we are actually eating our own jobs by eating the skin. We are eating our own jobs, and we have our children walking the street looking for jobs, when already they have cooked his job and they are eating it by eating this. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, without sounding offensive about this, I want us to know the hidden value in the livestock sector today. If you process poultry, nothing goes to it. Even the feathers today are crushed into calcium, and some of them are exported. That is the trajectory of the ministry. That is what we are doing. That is the way to go. And we are here today asking investors to come and work with us so that we can realize the full value of what the ministry is intended to achieve. Therefore, honorable ministers, distinguished senior colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of species here that I've not spoken about. But I do believe that this engagement will continue. I won't say everything here because our chief host has given me 20 minutes. That is not sufficient for the honeybee. But I've just decided to go across and then give you a nutshell the menu today from the youngest ministry of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ministry of Livestock. Once again, this is, ladies and gentlemen, the government of President Tinubu GCFR has unlocked the livestock sector, which offers multidimensional progress for everybody.
The plan has 10 key intervention areas, we call them the pillars, and each of progress. A little bit going through the pillars. Some of that is livestock value chain development and market access. We have the animal health and resources control. We have the affordable development. We have peace building and security. We have women and youths in the livestock. We have water management. We have livestock extension, finance and insurance, as well as data and information system. The livestock sector has huge untapped potentials, and under the leadership of Honorable Minister of Livestock Development and under the directive of Mr. President Tinubu, is working not just hard but smart to ensure that we provide the enabling environment for Nigerians to tap into these great potentials.
To formalize the policy and administrative machinery of the new administration, President Tinubu on the 23rd of October 2024 announced the appointment of First Minister of the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, Idi Maiha, was created and confirmed by the Senate on the 30th of October 2024 alongside 6 other ministerial nominees.
Thank you very much. Please round of applause for the Thank you very much. So the wonderful time will quickly take the second presentation, which will last for a period of 20 minutes as directed by our host. Please put your hands together as I invite to the podium the Honorable Minister of Regional Development, Engineer Abubakar Moko, Fellow of the Administration for Nigeria.
The Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed M. Idris, the Honorable Minister of Livestock Development, Minister of State, Regional Development, let me also acknowledge the presence of the two permanent secretaries of the Regional Development and the Ministry of Livestock. Also to be recognized special advisor on media and strategy, and also the special advisor on communication. Let me also recognize the presence of the DGNTA and all other personalities that are here present. I welcome all of you. Whether I recognize you by name, every person here, including the press, will recognize all of you. First, starting before you, the Minister of Regional Development. Let me say in clear terms that I really don't know where to start from now because I'm wearing two faces. Because before now, I was the Minister of Niger Delta Development. But today, I am the Minister of Regional Development, and with me here is the Minister of State for Regional Development. But when I was invited, I was called upon to present an account of what we have been doing since we took over. Last year, it wasn't possible for me to make a presentation because it got to my point when the whole exercise was aborted. So while coming here, I have to make sure that we have a detailed presentation that covers our activities from when I took over about 1.5 years ago till today. But let me also add that the Ministry of Regional Development, like the Minister of Information has said, is a very new ministry created on October 23, 2024, just about 2 months old. And the creation of the Ministry of Regional Development is more a lack of, is more of an expansion of what we have before, which is the Ministry of Niger Delta Development.
It is not entirely a new ministry, but it's a ministry which scope has been expanded to accommodate new regional commissions that are created. So far, 2 other new regional commissions, Northwest and Southeast, have been created. And it is important to let you know that these 2 commissions were only inaugurated last week after the board had been constituted by Mr. President. We are also awaiting the constitution of the other board. So it is only upon the constitution of the other board that our activities will start in earnest in terms of the new mandate of the ministry as ministers of regional development. I'm trying to give this background because my talk will be centered more on what we have done so far in the Ministry of Nigeria. But I also want to clarify one thing, because upon the announcement of the ministry in October last year, there was supposed to be an eruption in the Niger Delta region, saying that the Ministry of Niger Delta had been scrapped. But I took it round to one of our former leaders who had just passed on in the person of Elder Clark, and I was able to brief him extensively on what the new ministry is all about, and that is why the camp after such excavation was in the region. Otherwise, they were very much skeptical believing that the Ministry of Nigeria. I say this to let the whole world know that the Ministry of Nigeria is still there. It's under the regional development. It's just for the simple reason that new commissions have been created, and since the creation of the new commission across the entire region, that name cannot fit in properly Nigeria, because most of these commissions, they operate with outside the Nigeria region. I don't feel I have to make this clarification so that by the time I'm talking, you know that I'm going to say more about Niger Delta, because for the past 1.5 years, our operation has been in the Niger Delta region. And it is only when the commissions are properly constituted and start operation that our own activity to supervise them will commence. Because our role will be, which is the primary mandate, is to supervise these development commissions. And by the grace of God, those that have been operated, we are going to give them a clear course, a roadmap of what they are going to do. Let me say that when we resumed last year, the first thing was to go around the entire Niger Delta region to see for ourselves the problems in this area. And we were able to visit critical stakeholders, including traditional rulers and a number of persons in the Niger Delta region. And you all recall that last year too, all the ministers, including myself, we signed a presidential bond on how we are going about activities. And we also committed the sole agency under us then, which is NDDC, to sign a bond with the ministry to ensure that the 8 presidential priorities of Mr. President will be followed strictly. Let me also say that, like I said, when the ministry was established, that is the regional development is to coordinate the activities of the regions. But before then, we were able to coordinate the activities of the Niger Delta region. Now that our mandate has expanded, what that means is that we have more responsibilities to handle. But one good thing is that before now, I was the only minister in charge. But today, 2 of us are in charge in the ministry. So, like I said, my presentation will be based more on Niger Delta. And like I said, before the creation of the Ministry of Regional Development, that major responsibility was centered on providing interventions towards improving the socio-economic well-being of the people in the Niger Delta region. coordinate and oversee supervising all the established commissions across the country. So, like I said, we are going to talk more about 2023 to 2024. Let us get the achievements. The major achievements of the ministry are centered in 5 major areas in infrastructural developments. One, let us go back to the infrastructure piece. In terms of infrastructural development, we speak to how we can develop and ensure that the road networks in our respective area are enhanced beyond what they are today. By the time we took over, we inherited a number of projects that were ongoing in the ministry in terms of road construction. And under the policy of the ministry, we embarked on the reconstruction and completion of Beregono-Ogriapene Road, which is in Delta State. We also completed the rehabilitation of Okwala, Igurucha Road, Phase 1 in Imo State. And in addition, we also initiated projects in order to meet the infrastructural needs of the region. And such projects include the construction of Oron Roads, Northeast, in Edo State. We also embarked on the construction of Lead Road with bridge in Imbese, Imo State. Other areas that we also focus on were the construction of Akoki Mbago Road, Ikom local government in Cross River State. Then the construction of Biowa Road, Odupani local government in Cross River. The construction of Ezine, Onwimbo, Ndishi, Ijato, Unabo local government, South local government road in Imo State. There are quite a number of other lead roads that we embarked upon when we took over. Now we have commenced the process of awarding also major projects, about 8 major projects in the region, and they are waiting for FED approval. I think in a matter of 1 week or 2, by the time the FED commences, we are also going to construct a number of phase roads within the ministry. Next. Under the 2023 appropriation, we also engaged in water supply projects scheme. We also embarked on the construction of Okuta Community Water Scheme, that's Ogun Community Water Scheme in Warri. We also embarked on the construction of water scheme in Owerri Town in Imo State. There was also the provision of 1 number borehole and overhead and generating sets and recreation in Akwa State. We also have the construction of motorized borehole for communities in Oguta, Ohaji, Egbema, West in Imo State. All of this fell under the 2023 projects of the ministry. In 2024, we have also started the construction of 2 additional boreholes in Ilaje local government in Ondo State. We also provided power solar boreholes in Uweru village in Ubeli North local government. In areas of electricity infrastructure, we have also embarked on a number of projects in rural electricity in the Niger Delta area. One of which is Bese local government of Cross River, Obiako local government. We also talk of Etio in AML local government and Kana local government, all in River State. These are areas we intervene in terms of provision of electricity in form of transformer and extension of high tension to various communities. We also completed the installation of 257 number solar street lights across the region in 2023. Next. In 2024, We have also embarked on the construction of seven number transformers in various communities and a 2.5 MVA in another community across the Niger Delta region in order to boost power sector in the region and boost economic activities. In the area of inland water development, we have also made inroads, and to harness the economic values of the waterways in the Niger Delta region, we have embarked on the design and construction of jetty projects for water transportation, such as the recently awarded contract for the construction of jetty at Agbobiri, Arogo in Ilaje, Ese Odo local government in Edo State. We have also embarked on awarding of contract for the consultancy service for the proposed Niger Delta ferry transportation. I think it's very important to say it because in the Niger Delta area, there are some communities that cannot even see road, no matter what you do. So in order for them to be interconnected with those in the hinterland, there are quite a number of rivers in those areas that can be dredged and then provide ferry services. So a contract consultancy service to this effect has been awarded to a consultant with a view to embark on ferry services in the Niger Delta region. I think in a very short time that will come to reality. In the face of the dwindling budgetary allocation for carrying out our planned activities, the ministry has adopted the public-private partnership to meet our needs. Like this transportation, that's ferry transport, we are going to embark on a PPP arrangement because that's the only way to go if we must make meaningful impact, because the annual budgetary allocation for the main ministry is nothing to write home about. In terms of other infrastructure, we have also embarked on the reconstruction of Owerri roads, which was started before this administration, the dualization of Port Harcourt-Aba Expressway. All these are major roads under the Ministry of Works, but all we do is to intervene, because if you leave the road in the state they are, waiting until the Ministry of Works intervene, we will have a lot of challenge in being able to pass through. The construction of Ogri-Agbede Road, and also the construction of owner-free zone, natural alpha in Imo rivers. So, I think all that you have said, I also presented in a pictorial view, so that you can see some of these achievements that we have just mentioned to you right now. So, they are all in pictorial view. So, these are some of the issues that we have just talked about. So I think for a second, go to the next slide. Next. 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 Thank you. Like I said, the ministry will operate through departments. All that I said is within the Department of Infrastructure. We also have Housing Department, which is charged with the responsibility of housing needs of the region. By the time we took over, we met a number of mega skill acquisition centers that are various stages of completion. But what we observed is that most of these skill acquisition centers, they were without framework of management. That the few that were completed, they were already overgrown by weeds. So when we came, we now took a policy to the effect that such projects have to be handed over to federal government agencies that are in need of them. And so far, about 2 or 3 of such mega projects have been handed over to some federal government agencies, like the one in Imo State, the one in Ondo State is is currently under discussion with the Federal Ministry of Youth so that they want to use the mega skill acquisition for their own youth activities. So all of these skill acquisition centers, we are also going to complete all of them and also hand them over to government agencies that can manage it, because the ministry is not charged with that responsibility of managing. Then under the ministry or the department of House 2, we have what we call quick win projects, such as classroom blocks, ICT centers, and health centers. We have them across the entire region. Provision of ICT skill development CTB center in Eket, which was done at the cost of 160 million. The rehabilitation and construction and equipping of 20-bed maternal hospital in Ukana, and a host of others. They are all there. So I think we will provide the press with all this information for proper recording. We also have other areas that we have intervened, not only in terms of housing, in terms of economic empowerment, because today you notice that there's relative peace in the Niger Delta region, and that is the major achievement of our ministry, is to ensure that there is peace. There is relative peace today in Niger Delta because of the way and manner we have engaged them, engaged the stakeholders, and also carry out empowerment programs. Last year, about 300 youths were trained and empowered with a starter pack of about 250,000 each. This year, about 1,000 youths have been marked to be trained across the 9 states of the Niger Delta region. And in a moment from now, in another 1 week, all of those people that have been shortlisted will be trained, and after the training, they will give you the sum of 250,000 as their starter pack to commence their business. Also, in the area of community development and education, we have also embarked on a number of projects in terms of classroom blocks and also free medical treatments. And recently, we just rounded up a free medical treatment in Edo State, where a number of people were treated free, no payment, nothing. And a lot of surgery, fibroid surgery, eye surgery, dental surgery, and all names and both a clinical examination. They were carried out free, and it's a major activity that we are back upon. And all of this are geared towards maintaining peace in the region, because if there's turbulence in the Niger Delta region, it will negatively affect the economy of the nation. And that is why, since we came on board, our major commitment is to ensure that we do all those things that we will be able to bring peace in the region. So, Mr. Honorable Minister, please, I think you will just give me a few minutes to also run through some of our major activities in the Niger Delta region. Like I said, we have been operating through the ministry and NDDC, and the bulk of the money to develop the Niger Delta is in NDDC. So it's also important for us to know a little of what that agency has been able to achieve in the recent time, because there have been a lot of misconception
to Niger State. So this is very, very important. So there is no contradiction there. These kinds of moves will be used for some time, but they all end up in grazing areas. So it's very, very important. We know how many cattle are supposed to come. The Airport Control provides for number and time. Cattle are supposed to come to this country after the harvest of farms, so that they can go to eat the farm season. That has to be controlled. Number 2, the number of animals to be allowed into the country by permission. Written permission is also going to be determined. At the moment, these do not happen. This is what we mean by that statement. Secondly, the issue of ranches and the issue of tagging. Tagging is key and is important in animal when you read about livestock, because you want to know how many animals you have in your ranch. In case of disappearance in your labor home, you should be able to trace those animals and recover them. But beyond that, today, issue of traceability in terms of public health is very, very important. What we are trying to do, and this will not happen, because I am criminally optimistic. I don't fear any challenge in front of me, particularly when it comes to that stuff. It is pure. We should be able to trace every piece of meat you buy from the grocery. For reasons of health that borders on public safety. What we are going to do, we will link up all ranches that are coming up in this country to present our trust. Each ranch will be dedicated to our. So we know the history of the animal, we know the indication, we have the record. This animal will have another inspection before slaughter, meat inspection, meat certification, and then it goes back. So once you are eating your meat, you know from which one it is coming. And that is international standard. Because we want to aim at international market. As of today, we are having very, very strong commitment from the Middle East. And therefore, we should be in a position to say, look, this piece of meat you have came from so far. So we can trace it. We don't need mining other practices. We know the deposit, hygienic development, therefore we can trace it. The issue of ranches, we are doing a lot of stakeholder engagement. And very soon in March, we are going to invite all the pastoral organizations in this country. We have made them a neutral thing, but we want to invite all the leadership here so that we communicate the intentions of this ministry and how we are going to work together with them. We also want to get feelers from them. We are going to get any solution from them. We are going to work out a solution for them on how to remodel the abattoirs. This will continue for some time, but again, what is happening today is very, very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. When it goes for security, there is an overlap between what we do, we are not a security organization. Ours is to come with non-kinetic measures to silence the guns. We don't carry guns. We come with non-kinetic measures in terms of sensitization and taking practical steps to make sure that that survival mechanism of a higher habit to attack the farm doesn't exist, because we will encourage him to go into vertical integration so that he can be self-sufficient in fodder for his animals. And how do we do that? By improving the productivity of his animal. If he has 100 animals that can only give him 90 liters, we will give him 3 animals that can give him 100 liters. And these animals today are found in this country. Each animal can give you 30 liters, so you have 3 animals that can give you 100 liters, each of 100 animals that can give you 90 liters. So that is what we are going. And I mean, that is the victory that many other countries today have won, and it's Europe. Because we have practical examples in this country, we will create models for the and see so that our local indigenous country will be upgraded genetically to provide the meat and meat required for this country. So therefore, what is happening is unfortunate that we need to start people and then let us emotionalize about cattle, about livestock. This is money, this is part of national repository of protein. 60% of the cattle in this country are imported. Our national health rate is about between 20 to 29, 30 million. If you have abattoirs all over the country, we will eat up this animal in less than 3 years. It will get into serious local processing and export. So therefore, it is our intention in the ministry to quadruple the number of animals we have in the next 5 years. From 1 to 8 million ruminants, we want to go to million cats. From $32 billion industry, we want to get to 34 billion in the next 5 years. This is what we are looking for. So we have 4 across the board. Genetic improvement, health management, pasture and fodder, peace building between everybody. These are our own. So let us de-emotionalize our country. People poisoning animals during the day that we are just harming ourselves. This is our own national stock. Take ownership. We move together and make it happen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we'll take several trenches. It has 3 questions. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. The lady is the second person, and then this one. So the first person. Please keep your questions short and sweet. Okay? Thank you.
My name is Collins. I work with the Ministerial. My question goes to the Minister of Livestock Development. So I've followed some of the activities that you've been doing recently, and I found out that it's also what I've been doing in the past by the Ministry of Development of the animal husbandry. I want to know, in terms of sustainability and of this project, are you carrying along what has been done in the livestock in the animal husbandry department, or are you doing a fresh project on this, like the issue of feed and water? It has been done and it's been going on at the Ministry of Agriculture playing. That was under the department of the animal husbandry. Are you doing a total project, or is this kind of like a continuity or sustainability of the previous projects? Thank you very much.
Thank you. The lady is the second, and then you have the fourth person.
Thank you so much. I am Princess Gabriel Ajbe of the Anambra Broadcasting Service. My question will be to the Minister of Regional Development. Sir, during your presentation, you recount so many success stories of your ministry, but there are so many Nigerians that are eagerly waiting to see how these initiatives have impacted positively. So, sir, I want you to tell us categorically how these initiatives has impacted on the life of the common Nigerian, especially in my community where so many of us are already we are listening a whole lot of passion. Please, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. There's one person is here. There's one person. No, sorry, there's one person is here. Thank you.
Thank you. I have 2 questions.
Please, your name.
My name is Idi Maiha. I publish Nigerian Sportsman magazine. 2 questions. First one to the Minister of Livestock Development, my good friend that I met just a few days ago, and also the National Security Advisor. Now, the colleague from Nigerian Tribune asked a question regarding where you are taking off, knowing that the part of what you're doing was domiciled in the Ministry of Livestock Development. Sir, we have information that bureaucracy, that you are contending with some bureaucracy in taking off. Can you confirm that, sir?
That's the question.
My second question to the Minister of Regional Development. Sir, you spoke eloquently by your ministry and the expansion of your mandate. Sir, interventionist programs, platforms in the past has been a bane of development at that level. Now that your ministry has been expanded to run through other geopolitical zones, how do you assure Nigerians that you are going to drive this vision of your president of
ministers there, the Honorable Minister himself, and the Honorable Minister of State. I'm talking about the Ministry of Livestock Development. Now, only one minister talks to press at one time. However, if there are clarifications or comments that the Minister of State may wish to make, he has the liberty to do so in, say, 3 minutes maximum. Please, we are managing time. Let us keep the questions and comments straight. I also implore my colleagues to go straight to the answer so that we can leave here our schedule. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. So we can respond to the question. Honorable Minister of Livestock.
Okay, thank you. There are two concerns. One from my very good friend from June, and the other from another very good friend, I suppose. One is talking about free and fodder under the Ministry of Agriculture and Security. There is continuum in government. There is continuum, and we have inherited all those programs that are livestock related. And the talents that came from there, I don't call them workers, I call them talents. Because I have a lot of talents in my ministry. We are limited on that. However, we are going to upscale up to national level what has been done there in respect of livestock. There were only 2 departments then, and today we have 7 technical departments. The whole gamut of livestock valuation. And therefore, we are going to drill down further and make sure that fodder cultivation becomes a key commercial component in this country. Not just for those who have livestock as a vocation. You can go to a bank with a good business plan, go to the government, if you land, we will support you so they can go into personal cultivation. At the moment, we are looking about 30 letters to subnational government requesting for pieces of land where we can massively cultivate fodder for animal resources. We are also talking with the politicians of this country which have spare unutilized land across the country so that those lands can be brought for livestock and pasture cultivation. So this is what we are doing, and we are encouraging anybody who wants to go into pasture cultivation commercial to talk to us. We can do the handholding so that you can also get into business to do pasture cultivation. In fact, there are opportunities today in the Middle East to export grasses from Nigeria to the Middle East. You are invited. Please keep it. Now, talking about bureaucracy, like I said, we have talent in our ministry. In the short period, we have worked together. We have bonded, and we have a shared vision, and we have a goal, and that's what we are going. So in our ministry, with apology, it is not my ministry, it is our ministry. We have already bonded, we know each other, we have broken protocols, we are defying gravity, we are going to bring new bounds. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. First, let me go to the first person that's Mr. from Anambra Local Service. Thank you for the compliment. Your question is about the initiatives so far embarked upon by the ministry with impacting on people. First, when I was making my speech, I tell you that the ministry is charged with the responsibility to coordinate the activities of the region, that's the Niger Delta region. And I made it clear to you what we've been able to do from the end of the ministry and from the NDDC, which also acknowledge good initiative. But let me make it clear to you. I'm sure for the past 1 year, you will agree with me that the is relative peace in the Niger Delta region. You must have been hearing of crisis here and there. That is what the ministry is all about, to ensure that there is peace in that region, so that oil can continue to flow and continue to have money. If you want to tell me how this achievement impacted on the people, I think the best thing is to go to the various communities that these projects have been done for and ask them how far they feel. If you construct a road to a community that before now they don't have road, and they don't want to feel happy. If you train people on certain vocation, at the end of the day, you give them money to embark on such activities on which they train. Would they not be happy for it all? So I think all that we have said, the people are quite happy, and if you visit some of these communities, they are always appreciative of what have been done. And I also told you all that NDC has done in that region, because NDC is the main agency we have before now that has the resources to intervene in a very huge manner. And I cannot before you all that they have done. Are you going to tell me that 5 local governments that did not have electricity for 50 years, suddenly they now have electricity as not impacted on them? And I also told you that during that period, the governor of the state gave a testimony that he was a member of the board when the project started, that he was happy under his name as a governor that this project was being commissioned. And then you ask me how this is then the second person, a later, so talk of whether the Federal Ministry of Regional Development is not going to be a Federal Ministry of Regional Settlement. How? I want to say how. And then he clear, that is why towards the end of my speech, I told you that the ministry as it is today, we have 2 ministers. I have a minister and a minister of state. We have a permanent secretary. Our role is supervision. The whole money we are hearing is the Ministry of Regional Development and alongside in those commissions. And those commissions, you have management team, you have the board. There are going to be a lot of checks and balances. That is where we come in as supervision ministry. That's what they are going to grow up with us. There will be no room for any settlements. So if you know in the past there is any of the agency that have decided, I want to ask you a question, for the past 1 year, if you are there of any of those agencies now, also have been engaged in settlement, come and report to me, because I have made it clear to them, those that we have been not corrected so far, that I will start to make the right start. If you don't perform, if you do not go according to the mandate given to you, and the land with bishop is arrested, it means your job is gone. We will not hesitate to recommend the revocation of the appointment of this arrested. So, for that purpose, I do not see any of this regional commission that will be a settlement agency, because all eyes are on them and we expect them to perform. So, if the minister of state
2 ago, that is the Northwest Development Commission, but they haven't really taken off. They are in the process of taking off. But let me speak on the work that has been on ground for some time, and that is the Northeast Development Commission. Incidentally, we just got back to Abuja on Wednesday from a road trip we took, designed specifically to follow the money. We went alongside journalists, your colleagues, to all the major project sites in Borno State. We started from Borno for a purpose because we believe in the epicenter of the insurgency and the reason why the commission was created in the first place. We went there to see what they've been able to do in the 6 years they have been running the commission. I make bold to say that we are satisfied. In direct connection with the question the gentleman asked a few minutes ago whether we are going to see to Mr. President's vision. That is our vision also. And I want to assure you that under our watch, just like the honorable minister has stated, we went to see heroes. Some of you would have forgotten Zababari, where many farmers were slaughtered by the insurgents about 3 years ago. Mr. President graciously approved and built the road directly connecting the farming communities. You will be marveled to see the quality of work and how that area has been transformed in 2 years. It's there for you to verify. From work where there are 1,000 housing projects starting, commissioned, funded by NPC. We went also to see the Jerry Wall, which has been opened up for irrigation and many other farming activities. You see livestock welfare, in one environment with security manned by soldiers. Those are the kind of projects the NDC is executing. The National Bond Center at the University of the is one other project that is there. We also visited a farm-grade drugs police store funded by the NEDC. The NEDC also got graders, world-class graders from China to dredge canals and waterways around the Electoral region to make farming and open up the waterways for irrigation business. Those are just a few of some of the projects we are doing. And I believe, as responsible journalists, we follow the money. It is your responsibility to also follow the project to confirm and make sure that we are working tirelessly to make sure that we deliver the promises Mr. President made to the nation, and there will be no mistakes, no missing on the roads on delivering of the mandate on renewed hope, Mr. President's renewed hope project. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, my colleagues, the press, my colleagues on this area, the Honorable Minister of Nigeria, Minister of State Nigeria, Minister of Livestock Development, Public Secretaries, Special Advisor Information Strategy, Special Advisor Communication, Solidarity, and all the Directors General and Directors here. Thank you for listening, thank you for coming. I want to also tell you that this is not a one-off thing, like I said in my opening remarks. We'll continue to bring ministers to talk to you, to explain to you what they are doing, and you have the liberty to answer them questions, all in the interest of understanding what the government is doing for our people. So it's a day for us again. Next week we'll have a set of ministers who will come here and explain to you. So then, we want to thank you most sincerely, and please, my party should report responsibly in the interest of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All these families have to take the first step of the national anthem. We'll sing at the count of two, the leader is ready.